Hey guys, I'm back. It is still the same day. I'm still messing with it, so I'm gonna have to try to figure out how I'm gonna link these videos. Maybe I'm just gonna upload it all at once. I don't want to have to keep you waiting and anticipation, kind of like what's going on. But I do like to keep my videos very informative. That's why they're gonna stay long. I'm gonna try to cut out boring parts if I can, but most likely I won't because it takes a lot of time. But guys, we left off in the last video with me trying to start the Sprinter up. We have discovered that the transmission control module was not even present to begin with. So when I was actually starting the vehicle, there was no transmission control module. So it was really weird. The owner that sold it to me, I just spoke to him. I just got off the phone with him. He says no, he did not touch it. He did not instruct his driver to remove it. So he's like, what kind of game is this? Who took the transmission control module? Believe me, he's a good friend of mine. He's like, look, I got another one. He says, I want to make it right. I want to send it to you. And he's going to send it to me Monday from one of his other Sprinter. But he runs a Sprinter operation like this with drivers and stuff like that. Kind of what I'm getting ready to do myself. I only got 5. I think he's got like 8 Sprinters. And he's got drivers on them. So he could not reach the driver. He called the driver. He could not reach him. So he could not really ask him who took the transmission control module. So I guess let's get to it. Let's try to see now if the Sprinter will start. I actually just charged up the battery. It started up fine in my other van. So let's see what's going to happen. So I'm just going to take the camera in here kind of with me. And all I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to start it up. I still have the system to where I'm starting with a screwdriver just to eliminate the possibility of the ignition tumbler switch being bad. This is why I have it. So in case you're kind of watching this video and you haven't watched the other one, I do suggest you watch the other one, but this is kind of to let you know what's going on. I did have a start error message displayed at the very beginning before I started working on this thing. And that gave me an idea that something electronically with the ignition tumbler might not be right. So when it happens, when the actual tumbler where you put the key in there, when it has a problem, sometimes it'll prevent the vehicle from actually starting because it does not twist all the way. So by removing the actual electronic switch, I still have the key inserted. So it's still picking up the signal in the key, so it knows, like it's thinking there's a key in there, but there's not. So let's try to start it now. Look at that, guys, it actually started up and it just quit on me. So this is how actually I haven't even been that much trying. You know, it did start up and quit. So sometimes what happens is mass airflow sensor goes bad and that's why it quits. And actually I had some smoke in the back, so that could mean something as well. There's possibly a leaky fuel injector situation, but I'm not gonna jump to conclusions just yet. Let's go and try to disconnect the mass airflow sensor, see if that does anything. It is located right in here. I'm gonna disconnect it. I'm gonna go back. I'm just using my front camera for this one, so I could kind of see you guys, I guess. So nothing's happening. But the way it's starting, it sounds to me like it's a little bit different than it was before. I'm going to try to reattach the control module again. I mean, that's our full sensor. And I'm going to try to start it up again. If that doesn't work, we'll try some starting fluid. Just different type of methods. But, I mean, it almost started up. It almost sounded like it wanted to start working. So So I think that's enough for now. I'm gonna put the key in on position and let's do a diagnostics here. Let's see what kind of new codes we're getting. More importantly, I want to see if the crankshaft sensor code is back. So we got 3 codes. Invalid data received from instrument panel cluster control module. Cylinder 1 glow plug. Crankshaft position sensor. So that's back. So the crankshaft position sensor is back. So I'm not surprised that it's back, but I know it might seem like I'm surprised, but I'm thinking. I'm always thinking. I basically erased it. I'm gonna try to start it up again, and just to see if it's gonna come back, because I have actually something to tell you guys. So I'm going to try to see if I'm going to start at neutral. Okay, so I'll probably need to put the key into the on position. Let's try to, oh, we've got a link error, so I'm gonna do it again. Well guys, obviously it's not starting. The crankshaft position code for some reason keeps coming back. Believe it or not, crankshaft sensor was replaced according to 2 shops. It actually was in both shops. One shop replaced it, and then the second shop then went ahead and replaced the crankshaft position sensor. But the code still keeps coming back. So there's either a problem in the wiring or something, because that code is not disappearing, or it's probably like a part of another problem, but right now it's definitely there. But anyways, I do want to see some other things, like, man, that's kind of surprising. It almost started up, leaving me to think, I mean, it did kind of start up, but it just quit. Okay, now that I've kind of thought this through a little bit, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually install a mass airflow sensor. Okay, I'm gonna install one of those things. I actually do believe that a lot of times when a vehicle is not starting like that, it has to do with a mass airflow sensor, and I haven't had this problem in a long time. But usually, either the vehicle will not start, or it will start up and quit, which we kind of had that situation happen. It just hasn't happened in such a long time. If this is the problem, it's going to be kind of funny. And also, I haven't had a chance to really test out the theory if the vehicle will even start with the crankshaft position sensor being out. So let's go rule out the possibility. We're going to actually go to my other Sprinter, and I'm going to disconnect the crankshaft position sensor. I mean, crankshaft. Mass airflow sensor. I'm gonna disconnect it, and I'm gonna try to start it up without it. So if my other Sprinter starts out without it, so that will rule out the possibility that it is bad, because technically if we disconnect it in this one, it should start right up, and it hasn't when I actually disconnected it. So let's try to do that. So guys, here goes nothing. I did try this before on a Mercedes ML 350. I just disconnected it and it started right up, because I have some guy out in the parking lot that keeps trying to start his Jeep and could not start it, but it was not a diesel. They're kind of, I guess, similar electronics. Let's see if it even starts. If it starts without mass airflow sensor, I'll be surprised. Yeah, it starts up without it. Funny thing, it did not even throw a code. And let me show you that it is really disconnected. Here it is, guys. That wire just hanging there. We snap it back. Guys, speaking of mass airflow sensors, what happened is one of my contacts back in the day that was driving a Sprinter like this for some company. I met somebody over the road. He calls me up one day and says, man, it just cost me $900 to get my Sprinter, you know, serviced. And I'm like, well, what's up? He says, well, he could not get it started. Then he had to get it towed to the dealer, and of course he had to pay towing, and he had to buy the mass airflow sensor type of thing to fix it. It cost him like $900. If he would have called me, of course I wasn't doing a YouTube channel. This is like back in I think 2013, and he could not start his vehicle up. I could have told him you could just start it up without it. It might not run right without it, but at least you know that's the problem, you know. But as you could tell, I started my other Sprinter up without it, so kind of rules it out. So what I'm gonna do is I'll go ahead and disconnect mass airflow sensor on this one again, and I'm gonna keep trying to start it. But this time I'm actually gonna throw some starting fluid into the mix. So now I disconnected it. We're also gonna go ahead and remove this pipe. It's kind of dirty. And spray some of this fluid in there. So let's try. Obviously, it does not even want to start with some starting fluid. I mean, it's really not sounding that great when it's trying to start. So one thing's for sure, we still have a crankshaft position sensor to worry about, and vehicle will not actually start if there's a problem with the crankshaft position sensor. The only problem is it's been replaced twice, so something's wrong. The initial problem what happened is the guy was driving, the vehicle cut off, he had to actually lose his load to like another driver. Basically he gave it to him because he had to go to the shop. So obviously something happened while he was driving. It's just I'm kind of thinking, I mean, it sounds like the vehicle's trying to start. I mean, it sounded bad this last time because there was some ether in there. But you know, why is that crankshaft position sensor though lighting up? That's that's what's really, it's kind of like really mind-boggling type of question, because it's been replaced and why does it keep showing up. So I guess one way to find out is to actually go in there myself and to see what's going on, to see if maybe something's wrong with the wiring or whatnot. But at this point, we don't know. Um, so anyways, guys, I'm gonna call this video an end. It's a fail, I guess. We haven't got a chance to start this vehicle up, but I haven't even had my chance to really dive deep and to really go full-fledged at it. But one thing's for sure, we do have the transmission control module in there, and now things should start pretty much be a lot easier to figure out, now. So there will be other things that I'm going to be trying. I mean, now I'm going to be looking into, besides electrical, I'm going to be looking at some mechanical parts. So maybe it could be possibly a fuel injector or something. I mean, who knows? I mean, it could be like a leaky fuel injector situation. I did get some smoke when it almost started. So when that happens, all that diesel that it's spitting, it just basically, will clog up the pipe. But again, me saying that, it's I'm not even agreeing with myself, because if when that happens, you're gonna get a code. It's gonna say low fuel rail pressure detected. So obviously there's no code, but it could also be electrical problem, like if the fuel injector failed electrically. That could be, but at the same time, I'm kind of thinking, well, if that happens, then like it should give me like a code at least for a fuel injector. And but there is a couple other possibilities. There is a sensor on the high pressure fuel pump. When that fails, you will not be able to start the vehicle up. So for me to do that, I would need to replace the whole high pressure fuel pump. But before I even go that deep, I want to try out these little things, because the way I see it, if you have this type of situation, some of the stuff that I tell you, will definitely help, especially, if that's actually wrong with it, because vehicle could not start for many reasons. Sometimes it's simple, sometimes it's deep. But I cannot really believe that with the way that this vehicle is starting, I really do not believe the mechanic that had it last saying that there was low compression and 4 cylinders. Only one of them was good. I just don't know. I just don't believe that. Maybe that's true, maybe that's not, but it's definitely hard to believe whenever somebody does a compression test and actually does not write down any digits and does not even tell you anything, like what kind of pressures are in the cylinders, when they're actually charging like diagnostics, which actually I had to pay because my friend sold it to me, and part of the deal I would be paying the guys whatever was owed, and I had to pay my friend whatever we agreed on. So so there you go. Sometimes you're gonna get your vehicle diagnosed and they don't tell you nothing, but they do take the money because they did mess with it. So as unfair as that sounds, you got to protect yourself. And one of my videos that I made earlier today, I do explain what can you do to try to protect yourself when mechanics try to take your vehicle and promise you the world, and you might just get a big promising bill that you have to pay. So you gotta protect yourself from scammers, I guess. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I'm gonna call this video, I'm gonna call it a day, and we'll go back at it again once I have a little bit more time. It's probably not gonna happen this week, but at least I'll have some videos up for you guys, kind of like what's going on. So thanks, bye.